back to where the action is. WICR.
GOP committee's annual dinner, and Dr. Carson was very nice and generous to give us about a 6 to 7 minute interview. And Bill and Bob stepped outside of its realm into the political world yesterday. Just like, for those of you that are not following us, we're going to start an online media website this summer that's going to be covering sports, politics, business, and culture. And over the summer, we're going to be developing and building a mobile app so that all of you that are listening to us or following us, you'll get all the updates immediately. And so Bill and Bob can continue to be in your lives.
Yes.
Yes. But
right.
Back to sports. The NBA playoffs are happening today.
The NBA playoffs started last week.
Mm-hmm.
And let's start with the matchups first. Now, we're going to start with the Eastern Conference, alphabetical order, I guess, whatever. So, we have the 1-8, which is the Atlanta Hawks and the Brooklyn Nets. The Brooklyn Nets have... I think I'm right by saying they have pretty much no chance. I mean, this Nets team wouldn't be in the playoffs in any other time. But, because of the state of the NBA at this point, there they are. And, the Atlanta Hawks have been dominating opponents all season. They beat the Warriors. They blew out the Warriors on multiple occasions. So, Brooklyn has no chance, just kiss them goodbye.
Rob, since 2001, there have been 11 teams that made the playoffs. There have been 11 teams that made the playoffs.
Yes, that's true. That's actually...
Hold on. You interrupted me. There have been 11 teams that made the playoffs with a record below 500, and the Nets are one of them. And they have all come out of the Eastern Conference. And that just shows how weak of a conference the East Coast really is. And all those teams have gone defeated. And the team that has come closest, I think, to actually winning a game has actually been the Atlanta Hawks when they had Joe Johnson playing.
Yes.
But they lost to the Celtics that year when the Celtics went on to go win the NBA Finals.
And and
that's where Joe Johnson was playing, so.
Yeah, and we're actually going to delve into that topic a little more later on in the show.
Uh-huh.
So the 4-5 matchup, obviously the most interesting one. Raptors, Nets, and excuse me, I'm sorry.
Raptors, Wizards.
Raptors, Wizards. Apologies for that.
4-5.
Raptors, Wizards. This is a very interesting match. However, I think I'm taking the Wizards on this one. John Wall is a force. Bradley Beal's healthy. Paul Pierce got the Toronto crowd riled up, and he delivered in the first game. And Toronto was the home team in that game. And I feel like the Raptors. I don't think they're at that point yet. I just don't think they're ready. That team is really young. And also, little side note, Lou Williams on that team won 6th Man of the Year award. So, great for him. But, that Raptors team's not really ready yet. Kyle Lowry, unproven point guard, still relatively young, although not, spring chicken, but, still relatively young. And he's just now, getting on people's radar as a, top caliber point guard in the NBA. But at this point, I don't really see them beating the Wizards. So,
No. I remember Paul Pierce when he was with the Celtics, and we even thought of Paul Pierce back then as being a dinosaur. Or, he was one of those elder players on the Celtics championship teams with Garnett and Rondo and Ray Allen. But
it's because of his his shooting stroke. He barely elevates.
Yeah,
that's one thing.
Yeah, and the headband. But now you have players on the Raptors saying that when Paul Pierce gets the crowd going or he says something controversial to the media, that he's just trying to get himself, the dinosaur, going. But I think that if you look at that Wizards team, you have, again, John Wall, and you have a great big man and a great center. You have Paul Pierce,
Marcin Gortat, and Nene as well, who has experience.
Yeah, so I think that the Raptors team is budding, but it's young. It's too young.
Don't get me wrong.
It's too young,
this is
and
be a close series.
It's too young, and I think that the Wizards team is too experienced.
You know, it's kind of like Yankees Mets. The Yankees are a bunch of old guys, and Mets are really young. The only difference is though, however, these teams are both like in the playoffs playing against each other.
Exactly.
You know, the Wizards are a lot more veteran. You know, Drew Gooden is ancient, but that will help them in the long run. I have the Wizards in that one. So 2-7. This might oddly be the more lopsided game. This might even be more lopsided than the 1 versus 8. The Cavaliers and the Celtics. You know, Cavaliers. That's pretty much everyone's pick to make it to the finals. Although I'm hoping Atlanta makes it. You know, because nobody wants them to go, so I'm hoping Atlanta makes it.
And Boston is one of those teams that have made the playoffs with a below 500 record this season.
Boston, Milwaukee, and Brooklyn.
Yeah.
All three of them made the playoffs with a below 500 record. And I see the Cavaliers winning this one pretty easily, actually. So there's not really much to, analyze. They have LeBron and Kyrie Irving. It's first playoff series, and Kyrie Irving actually performed in the first game. So that right there is enough to tell you that Boston's pretty much done. So
and Rob,
it will take a miracle for them to even make it to the second round.
Well, Boston has seen miracles before.
No, they've usually
with the Red Sox and everything else. But this can be Kevin Love's first playoff experience.
Yes, Kevin Love as well. After years of being on very futile teams.
Yeah.
In Minnesota, or futile, I should say.
Yeah, Rob. After playing all those years with the T-Wolves up in Minnesota, where they're basically barren of playoff hope. Now he's on a Cavaliers team where he's possibly the third man behind LeBron and Kyrie Irving. So Love, I don't know.
Love's not really getting much love in Cleveland, though.
Love is not getting much love, but
J.R. Smith is starting to.
I think he's happy to be in the playoffs and playing some May and possibly June basketball.
And happy that he's not playing for the league worst Minnesota Timberwolves. April,
May, and possibly June basketball.
Yeah.
Bulls Bucks.
Bulls Bucks. This is actually a division rivalry.
Battle of the Midwest.
Yeah, Chicago and Milwaukee. It was Detroit, it'd be a lot more fiery, or if it's in Indiana, but close enough. Chicago, Milwaukee.
Cubs Brewers.
This is basketball for now, so we'll stick to that.
Okay, we'll stick to basketball.
Yeah. You're getting a little baseball centric now, but
Oh, come on.
I gotta keep it even.
Keep it even.
Bulls Bucks. This Bucks team, for a team the thing about Milwaukee is they're not really, laced with talent. I mean, they have a lot of young raw talent. Giannis Antetokounmpo, I think I pronounced that right. I'm pretty sure I did. If I didn't, oh well. Giannis, and they got Brandon Knight.
Brandon Knight. Not Brandon Jennings. He left.
Yeah, not Brandon Jennings. Right. Brandon Knight. Oh, is he still in Milwaukee?
No.
He's not. You see? Milwaukee's not really, out there in the media as much. So, other than Giannis, nobody
No one cares about Milwaukee. No one covers Milwaukee. The only time anyone covered a Milwaukee sports franchise was when Robin Yount was playing for the Brew Crew, or when CeCe Sabathia was there for 2 months.
What I tell you?
Oh, I'm sorry, baseball centric.
Come on, man.
Okay.
So,
come on, man. Michael Irvin.
So that right there proves to you how little talent this Brewers team's Brewers. See what you did?
Sorry.
How very talent. How little talent this Bucks team really has, and Chicago Bulls. They're starting to become like the San Antonio Spurs almost. They make the playoffs every year without Derrick Rose. They're used to it by now.
Well, D Rose is coming back.
Yeah, he came back last week of the season, actually.
Yeah.
And I don't know, that might hurt them a little bit. It might hurt the chemistry.
Yeah, because
they've been so used to him not playing.
They aren't used to him, so he's going to kind of screw up that.
But, I think they're going to have a relatively easy time, with Milwaukee. So I got the Bulls advancing.
Rob, last night, did you watch the Bulls-Bucks game?
No, I actually missed it.
No?
Yeah, I got home really late, so I can't even.
Oh, yeah, after our event.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I know the Western Conference is 10 times more interesting.
10 times more competitive.
Exactly. No, not a single team was under 500, which it should be because it's playoffs. You don't see that in other sports, but we'll get into that later. Warriors Pelicans. Now the Warriors.
The Warriors, according to ESPN, have a 48% chance of winning it all.
Yeah,
that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous for a team for a franchise that has never really been to the playoffs in my existence or your existence.
Yeah, now, in 2007, they were the 8th seed. They beat the Dallas Mavericks.
Never really.
They beat the Dallas Mavericks, the 1 seed.
Okay, for a team that has not had that much success during our lifetimes or ever in the existence of their franchise, they're predicted to win it all. And
focus on this year.
That's exciting. That's exciting.
It is very, and the Pelicans, sorry guys, but this Warriors team, they're on a mission. Stephen Curry very well could.
The Warriors are gonna be flapping their birds all over them, their wings.
It's kind of miss. But
You don't think so?
oh no, I'm talking about the joke. I'm referring to the joke.
Now,
But-
Rob, did you see where Stephen A. Smith said that Anthony Davis is gonna be
Yeah, and
the best player in the world within 3 years? What do you think
the
about
best
that?
player in the world is usually the best player in the NBA. That's pretty much what he meant. Because people say LeBron's the best player in the world because he plays in the NBA.
Exactly.
If Anthony Davis becomes the
Okay,
best player in
but
the
Rob,
NBA,
what do you think of that statement?
I think it's true. Anthony
Why?
Davis is already, running roughshod all over the NBA, and he's not even what is he 22, 21? I mean, this guy
2 years out of college?
He's a phenom.
Yeah.
He's a phenom, and he's only going to get better. Once he gets better teammates, and he already made the playoffs with an 8-seeded team. Now they're going to lose, but this is Anthony Davis' coming out party for the national audience because the Pelicans don't really get a lot of coverage. That's another thing I don't like about the NBA. Only certain teams get coverage. Although you know what, that's pro sports in general, but we're gonna get into that.
Okay, Rob, explain to me the NBA teams that you think deserve to get more coverage.
All of them that are in LA, Chicago, New York, and Boston.
No, what teams do you think should be getting more coverage than they are?
Teams that are in the playoffs that aren't in those cities, pretty much. So
No, but Rob,
look-
Rob, why would
listen. We
Rob, why would TBS or another sports outlet
TNT.
or
The games are on
TNT,
TNT.
ESPN, why would they be covering a team that really isn't in a big market or does not have a big fan base?
Because then that gives those teams an advantage. It's supposed to be a competitive
But
balance.
it's about making money.
No, it's not about for the front office is about making money, but really what it is about teams competing to win a championship. And even if you could have a team that can win 10 straight, if they come from a city, even though San Antonio is actually like the 7th largest city in the country, people don't really know that, or it's a top 10 large city in the United States. A lot of people don't know that, but if a team
It's
comes
number
from,
8, actually.
there you go. If a team comes from a city that isn't a marquee name and they can win 10 straight championships, no one's going to care, and that's a travesty. But you know what? That's going to be the topic. Let's continue with the next matchup.
Uh-huh.
Warriors going to beat the Pelicans, with ease. That team is just on another level. Portland, Memphis. Now, this game is actually interesting because this game has my pick to make it to NBA Finals. My personal pick from the Western Conference. This is a team that I want to make it, and this is a team that I think can make it, and that's the Memphis Grizzlies. This
Really, explain why. Number 6 seed.
no, they're 5. Number 5.
They're number 6. 4-6.
Oh no, this is wrong. They're 5. The 4
No,
plays
they're
the
a
5.
6.
The 4 plays the 5, and the 3 plays the 6. 3 plays the 6. So they're 5 seed in the Western Conference.
Rob, I'm looking at it right here from NBA.com.
That's a mistype. They're 5
Rob,
seed.
I'm looking at it right here.
The 4 seed always plays the 5 seed, no matter what. So anyway, they're 5 seed in the Western Conference, and they're playing the Portland Trail Blazers. Two very similar teams. They both have, very talented big men, LaMarcus Aldridge and Zach. The Trail Blazers have LaMarcus Aldridge, and
You're right.
the Grizzlies have Zach Randolph and Mark Gasol.
Mhm.
And another thing, the point guard matchup is going to be really interesting because the Portland Trail Blazers, they have Damian Lillard. We all know him from the Adidas commercials and all that. Mike Conley is extremely underrated and underappreciated. He's actually one of the more underrated point guards in the NBA, and he's actually probably one of the best point guards in the playoff series right now. And I think this is Memphis' time. It's their time. They're a very hungry team. They play tough defense. They're not very flashy, but I think they can get the job done, and they're going to beat Portland. It's going to be a close series. It's probably going to be the closest series in the entire playoffs. I'd probably say Memphis in 7.
Now, Rockets Mavericks.
Yes.
I like the Rockets in this. And I think that the Rockets are going to move on and potentially make it to the conference finals.
Yes.
And
the Rockets
and go up against whoever wins the Clippers Spurs.
But
I think that those 2 series, Rockets Mavericks and Clippers Spurs, are the 2 series to really look for on the West Coast.
the only issue I have with the Rockets is they only have one real player. That's James. I shouldn't say real player. They have one player who pretty much does all the scoring for them. That's James Harden.
What about Dwight Howard?
Dwight Howard's been injured for most of the season, and
But Dwight Howard
probably
is
gonna be ineffective.
Dwight Howard is instrumental to the team.
No,
right now.
He was out for
Right now,
season, and James Harden put that team on his back
Rob,
and got him to a 2
Well, Dwight Howard is going to be instrumental for them in the long run in the playoffs because you just can't have James Harden doing everything.
I mean, he has been for about
Yeah,
8
but
games.
yeah, Rob, in close games, you're gonna have to go balance it out with the big man. But I think that we also see another example where, just like Derrick Rose and his return in Chicago, where Dwight Howard's return, it might screw up the team chemistry and everything like that, because they've been playing without him for so long.
I feel like the Rockets and Bulls have opposite situations. You know,
Tell me.
the Bulls have been they have not had Derrick Rose all year. He comes back, he might mess things up because they've been doing pretty well. The Rockets have been doing pretty well without Dwight Howard and with just James Harden scoring. You know, so
How is that different? They've both been doing very well without their star players.
What I meant to say was the Bulls rely on their entire team. You know, they play very great team basketball, and the Rockets, they just use James Harden to score most of their points, and they've both been successful in ways. You know, so and James Harden's an MVP candidate.
Yeah, but Rob, you fail to see the comparison. Where I'm just saying that the return of these two stars is going to affect their teams.
But the only difference is Derrick Rose is the main guy in Chicago, and Dwight Howard is not the main guy in Houston.
No, Dwight. Rob.
He was supposed to be, but James
No,
Harden just
exactly. Dwight Howard initially was the main guy, but all of a sudden, when Dwight Howard came out of the picture, was gone from the picture, then James Harden had to step up. But that does not mean that when Dwight Howard leaves, that Dwight Howard is not the main guy. He might be 1B now. He might be 1B now.
And also, James Harden's been doing this for 2 years now with Houston, so he's been the main guy for 2 years.
No, Rob. James Harden's season this year is nothing like last year.
Yeah, he's way better.
Exactly. Rob, he's going Kanye on them.
So for that series, Dallas, Dallas is another team that always makes it every year. However, James Harden he's unguardable. He is. He's one of the players that you just can't defend. Although he can't defend himself that well, but
remember when he was with the OKC Thunder?
Yeah.
I mean, he was the third man in that.
And now he's MVP candidate. With Westbrook. Westbrook's MVP candidate too.
Rob, thinking about the Thunder front office right now, if you're the Thunder GM or assistant GM, whatever, do you want James Harden or Westbrook and Durant?
I mean, at this point, James Harden.
James Harden?
Look what he's doing.
Look what he's doing.
Put a team on his back.
So going back and looking at it.
We have a time limit, man.
I know. Don't worry about it. Going back and looking at it from a 2020 rear view lens, do you think that it was the wrong move for the Thunder to get rid of him, and maybe they should have found a way to keep him, whether that means minimizing salaries for other players or offering him a better contract?
I mean, look where the Thunder are now. If Durant got injured, and if they would have had Harden, they would have had a backup. Although he probably would still been, he probably would have been a starting shooting guard, but you get the point. So, and the Mavericks team,
right on the cusp.
James Harden is too much to contain, so I think Houston's going to take that one. So now we have our last playoff matchup in the first round: Clippers-Spurs. Now this is going to be a really interesting one. These guys have played each other a lot. I just feel like I think I'm one of the few people, or I might be one of the many people, who knows. I think the Los Angeles Clippers for the past couple years have been really overrated. Especially with all the highlight dunks they get, DeAndre Jordan.
Lob City.
DeAndre Jordan with all the highlight blocks. I think they're just an overrated team.
Yeah, but Rob, what I find
they're like a poor man's Showtime.
Yeah. Well, I mean, for the majority of their existence, they have been LA's second team. They've been Los Angeles basketball's Mets. But
only difference is the Mets actually won a couple times. Clippers did absolutely nothing. The Clippers way worse.
But Rob, when I look at this matchup, I'm intrigued that these teams were behind Golden State, the second best teams in the Western Conference, and now you have, because of their end of the season flunks and everything, you have the Clippers at 3, and now you have the Spurs at 6. That means that one of these teams, both in the top 3 for the majority of the regular season, they won't make it to the next round
because they're playing each other.
Exactly. So,
you know what? I have a feeling that in this matchup, Kawhi Leonard is going to be the most important piece in this, because if Kawhi Leonard performs for San Antonio, then this will come down to the wire.
No. I see it.
I think he's the guy.
Rob, I see it on the opposite side of the court. I see Chris Paul, and if he can go really utilize the floor, and if he can get the ball to DeAndre Jordan and Blake Griffin to really open up space and open up that 3-point game and also play big down low, I see Chris Paul as being the instrumental piece in this series.
But San Antonio never seems to amaze. So in this one, I'm gonna have
no. Coach Popovich and company.
Popovich.
Coach Popovich and company. They continue to impress us always. They're the ageless wonders.
Exactly. So I have them in 7.
The 9th wonder of the world.
So that wraps up for our NBA playoff coverage. Well, this week.
Very good.
So we will take a break and we'll be right back to do something that Bill I'm pretty sure is dying to do right now, and that's talk about some baseball.
Cubbies, go Cubs, go!